Still ahead on your news at 5:30, it is Election Day, and 9 on your side is your local election headquarters. Ahead, the latest on the races happening where you are.
And North Carolina's most famous pirate is on his way to D.C. We'll explain how the latest Blackbeard case is getting the Supreme Court involved.
And new additions are coming to Washington's Montessori Public Charter School. 9 on your side's Madeline Ashley has those details. Good evening, everyone. I'm Ken Watling.
And I'm Angie Quezada. Thanks for joining us. It's Election Day across the East, and voters are casting ballots for municipal races, mostly mayoral and city council seats.
9 on your side's Katie Augustine is live at a polling location.
The Jacksonville Fire Department has new leadership. Edward Tallman is the new fire chief. Tallman replaces Chief Jerry Hardison, who left for a different position at the Winston-Salem Fire Department. Tallman started working at the Jacksonville Fire Department in 2000 as a firefighter and was most recently battalion chief. He's expected to take the formal oath of office before City Council on Tuesday, November 19th. Tomorrow in Jacksonville, Congressman Greg Murphy is hosting an open house for his new district office. The public is invited. The open house is from 3 to 4:30 at 234 Northwest Corridor Suite 301. Congressman Murphy says the new office is necessary and to, quote, conveniently provide assistance to Marines, veterans, and other residents of Onslow County and the surrounding area.
North Carolina's most famous pirate now in the spotlight in Washington, D.C.
A Fayetteville man says the state used his video of Blackbeard's ship without his consent. As Kelly Mayer explains, the case has sailed all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court. Alyssa, thanks. Washington's Montessori Public Charter School is expanding. The school is adding a new building on campus. 9 on your side's Madeline Ashley has more on the project that's been in the works for years.
Washington. For inland areas, we never make it out of the 40s, probably low to mid 50s at the coast on Saturday. My goodness, though, what a temperature turn around.
Oh, and I absolutely love it. I'm not complaining at all. I have my
When it's in the 20s, you're going to complain.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
And we may go there before that 7 day is out at night. We could see some lows in the 20s.
Oh, boy. Thanks, Jerry.
Yep.
Well, college hoops is back across the nation, and the ECU Pirates are in action tonight.
The Pirates set to welcome in the cadets of Virginia Military Institute for their home opener. Our Kelsey O'Donnell joined us live tonight from Minges Coliseum with more. Hi, Kelsey. Kelsey, thanks. Still ahead on your news at 5:30, Adidas is expanding their brand out of this world. We'll tell you about the shoe company's recent partnership with the International Space Station. Plus,
the commute
at 5:30.
Jobs can be stressful, but a new survey finds many people are stressed out before they even get to work.
Nichelle Medina explains.
But you can't avoid all the traffic.
Adidas is floating around the possibilities of testing its footwear in space.
The shoe and apparel company just signed up for a new partnership with the International Space Station. The first phase will focus on testing products in microgravity. NASA says that's the condition where people or objects appear to be weightless. Adidas said it plans to study the range of motion in the human body and how muscle development is affected without gravity.
The tests are slated to begin early next year. Adidas will be the first brand to test improvements to footwear in space.
A quick check of your first alert forecast on this election day when we come back. Rain across the east today, but brace yourselves for the weekend because it's about to get a lot colder.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
This is the weaker of the two cold fronts moving through tonight. The stronger one gets here later this week. That's the one that's really going to cool us down. Tomorrow it will be a little bit cooler, but not frigid. We'll be in the mid 60s for daytime highs, but just hold on because once cold front number 2 gets out of here late Friday night, by Saturday, even though we have full sunshine, it doesn't get us out of the 40s for inland areas. Naturally, it'll be just a little bit warmer along the North Carolina coast. We'll be in the low to mid 50s for Saturday, with overnight lows dropping back into the mid to upper 30s. So again, a big turnaround heading our way.
Thanks, Jerry. Thank you so much for watching. More news, sports, and weather's coming up next at 6 right here on WNCT.
Not a bad start to the work week outside today. We had some extra clouds streaming in during the afternoon. So far, not a lot of rainfall coming out of those clouds. As we head deeper into the night tonight, we'll up the chance of a stray shower or two. Nothing too impressive, at least in the short term. Now, we are going to see a slightly more significant cold front and low pressure area move across the region tomorrow. So if you want to be heading out to the polls, starting at 6:30 in the morning, temperatures will be certainly warmer than what we saw last night into the early morning. We'll be in the 50s with about a 30% chance of a shower. shower. By lunchtime, we'll be climbing into the 70s with a 40% chance of a passing shower. And then by 7 o'clock tomorrow evening, temperatures will ease back into the 60s. Up in a few minutes, we'll talk about some winter-like temperatures for the upcoming weekend. The longest-running newscast in the East starts now.
Ahead at 5:30, new reports say there are a rising number of suicide deaths among teenagers in North Carolina. We'll share what we know. And it's FAFSA Monday, which means millions of students are applying for loans and grants nationwide. 9 on your side's Marquise Mito will join us with the details. And on the eve of Election Day, we'll tell you all you need to know before you cash in your vote. Good evening, everyone. I'm Angie Quezada. Thanks for joining us. Ken Watling is on assignment tonight. Well, North Carolina is marking a milestone, reducing deaths among children in the state to a historic low. But at the same time, there's a concerning trend going in the opposite direction. The state is seeing an increase in suicide among teens. Michael Hyland is digging deeper tonight into the reasons why. Well, President Trump heads to Kentucky for a campaign rally in the final hours before the state's crucial election. The president and vice president have been actively campaigning on behalf of Republican candidates in state races that are getting national attention. They'll be watched as an early test of how the impeachment inquiry is playing with voters. Natalie Brand reports from Washington.
President Brand, CBS News, Washington.
And staying in politics, House investigators released transcripts from 2 closed-door depositions held as part of the impeachment inquiry. That included testimony from Michael McKinley, a former advisor to the Secretary of State and a former Ukraine ambassador. That former ambassador testified the president's personal attorney, Rudy Giuliani, worked with 2 foreign-born associates to have her removed from her post so they could pursue their own business interests and the president's goal of having Ukraine investigate political rivals.
This irregular back channel that the president established with Rudy Giuliani and the damage that it was doing to America's national security and foreign policy interests.
Several witnesses scheduled to be deposed today did not show up, but the lawyer for the whistleblower who triggered the impeachment inquiry says his client is willing to answer Republicans' questions in writing. Coming up, fire departments across the East have a special message for you now that daylight savings time has come and gone. How one simple task could end up saving your life.
Also coming up next, our complete First Alert 7-day forecast. We'll take a look at your Election Day weather and some truly winter-like temperatures getting set to move in for the upcoming weekend. A little cooler Wednesday, but then the real cold front arrives late Thursday into early Touchdown Friday. Touchdown Friday night should be fine for area high school football games, but Angie, look at that high on Saturday, 47. That's with full sun. That's below normal for early January around here.
Oh boy. And you know, looking at those temperatures, 70 degrees, when I see that, I'm like, oh, that's warm. It's going to be warm because it's been so cold.
Yeah, it's been up and down, and November is that. You know, it's full of extremes, really warm days, really cold days. They balance out in the long run.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jerry.
Yep.
Well, change your clocks and change your smoke detector batteries. Local fire departments are using daylight savings to make sure your device is up and running. The Emerald Isle Fire Departments say it's important to change your batteries every daylight savings. According to the National Fire Protection Association, 3 of 5 home fire deaths were a result of no working smoke alarm present. Now, the Emerald Isle Fire Department calls the device life-saving.
We've had incidences right here recently where we've had a house fire and the detector alerted the occupants of the house. If not, if they wouldn't have had that, you know, there's a chance it could have been a lot bigger fire by the time they realized it or not even got out.
If your smoke alarm makes a chirping sound, it's time to freshen up your batteries. The fire department says smoke detectors need to be changed every 10 years. Still ahead at 5:30, Airbnb are making policy changes after a deadly shooting occurred in one of its houses. The details coming up. And a new device added to smaller aircrafts that could save hundreds of lives. Next.
This is WNCT 9 on your side, news at 5:30.
Welcome back. Drastic changes are coming to Airbnb after a deadly shooting at a Halloween party last week at one of the company's rental houses. While the investigation is underway, Airbnb's CEO says they're not wasting any time making some changes to their policies in a series of tweets, saying they're implementing a tighter guest screening program, creating a party house rapid response team, and anyone found in violation of the upgraded policies could be removed. Authorities say the Halloween party was advertised on social media and more than 100 people showed up. It's still unclear what led up to the shooting and no arrests have been made. More than 200 people died every year in small plane crashes, but new technology gives pilots and passengers the option of hitting what is basically a panic button to automatically land an airplane. Chris Van Cleve took a test flight. Check it out.
Emergency, emergency, emergency.
That's a student pilot. CBS News.
Stay with us. A quick check of your first alert forecast when we come back.
Late December here in eastern North Carolina, and that's with a full day of sunshine. Until then, if you're like me and you like it a little more comfortable, tomorrow will be up near 70 for Election Day. So you could do worse than that tomorrow.
Awesome. Thank you, Jerry. And thanks for watching. More news is next with Shayla Reeves at 6 right here on WNCT.
9 at 10 on the CW starts right now.
Awesome. Thanks, Jerry. Good evening, everyone. Happy Halloween. I'm Angie Quezada. Thanks for joining us tonight here on the Eastern North Carolina CW. Well, ECU has a new interim chancellor tonight. Acting interim chancellor Dr. Ron Mitchelson has been appointed to the position by UNC System President Bill Roper. Mitchelson is the provost and senior vice chancellor of academic affairs at the university. Mitchelson, who came to ECU in 1999 as a professor and chair of the Department of Geography, has served as a provost since 2015. Before coming to Greenville, he held faculty and administrative positions at the University of Georgia and at Morehead State University in Kentucky. He has served as acting chancellor since September 30th and will serve as interim chancellor until the UNC Board of Governors completes its search for the university's next permanent chancellor. Well, the Sheriff's Department says Mark Throckmorton killed Dante and Patrice Grossi before turning the gun on himself. A preliminary investigation shows the home of Newport Loop Road was shared by two sisters and their husbands. There was an altercation between Throckmorton and Dante Grossi before shots were fired. Officials have released the 911 call following the shooting, and the call coming from a neighbor.
Can you tell me exactly what happened?
Well, we're not really sure. We just got a phone call, and the lady was crying, saying that everyone was on the floor bleeding, and she can't get to 911 because this was the first call that she came across. Like, I guess her phone won't let her down. I'm not really sure, but I guess her husband shot everyone and then just killed himself. I'm not really sure. She's freaking out. We can't really get a full story out.
Throckmorton's wife was home at the time of the shooting. She was not hurt. A Kinston man is behind bars tonight facing attempted murder charges. The charges stem from an incident that took place in September when they arrived at a Handy Mart in Kinston. Deputies found Brandon Tripp suffering from a gunshot wound. It was later determined that Tripp attempted to rob another person and was struck by gunfire in the process. Tripp is charged with attempted first-degree murder and robbery with a dangerous weapon. He's being held at the Lenoir County Detention Center on a $1 million bond. A second person is facing charges in a Greenville bank robbery. Greenville police arrested 38-year-old Matthew Lee Bloodworth at his home in Chocowinity. It happened around 1 o'clock this afternoon. Now, this follows the arrest of 35-year-old Justin Moon of Durham earlier this month. The pair are facing charges in an October 8th robbery. Investigators believe Bloodworth drove the getaway vehicle. Right now, he's behind bars in the Beaufort County Detention Center. Well, the Halloween festivities are underway tonight, and people are expected to fill the streets of Uptown Greenville as they dress up to enjoy the night. Not on your sides, Aaron Dean is in Uptown with all the fun. And Aaron, what kind of costumes have you seen so far?
Well, Angie, as you can tell, I've made some new friends here tonight, and I've seen some really interesting costumes as the night continues to go on, and the crowds are slowly starting to gather here out in the streets of Uptown. So check out this video. So far, I have seen bananas, I've seen characters from Pokemon, I've seen cat, witches, wizards, the Flintstones, and I've even seen someone dress up as Jesus. But that's what brings people out tonight, the chance to get creative and have some fun. And listen to what some people have to say about why they come up to Uptown every year.
There's a lot of people. I like the people and the energy, so you get to be whatever you want. And you can go out in public without people looking at you.
The costume. You get to dress like this, no one's going to make fun of you. Best night of the year.
Some people tell me that they're going to go out to have some fun tonight, and some of the hot spots are going to be Still Life and Sup Dogs. And right now, Greenville Police Department and the Pitt County Sheriff's Office are out and about all throughout Uptown with checkpoints to keep you and all of your friends safe. Live in Greenville, Aaron Dean, 9 on your side.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Aaron. Well, tonight, the LaGrange Community College started a new fall tradition for the whole family. They held their first Harvest Spot Festival. Kids, teenagers, and even adults dressed up and participated in trick-or-treating, music, and games. Several blocks of the downtown area and community park were blocked off to give kids and families a safe place to have fun. Organizers say this is a way to bring everyone together.
The hope is to bring more people in LaGrange together, to set aside our differences so we can all work together to make LaGrange a better place.
So are you excited about tonight's event?
I am very excited. As you can tell, we look like we in Greenville on 5th Street tonight, in LaGrange version of 5th Street.
Organizers say around 1,000 people showed up today, and they hope to make the Harvest Spot Festival an annual event. Well, today, Vidant Medical Center is making Halloween possible for patients at the James and Connie Maynard Children's Hospital. Today, team members hosted their annual trick-or-treating event. It includes booths, costumes, and goodies for patients. The annual tradition allows patients to participate in Halloween without leaving the hospital. For some, it's a much-needed break between treatments.
Well, you know, you can look at the faces of these kids, and this is a few moments of their day in a hospital environment when they're recovering or being treated where they feel like kids.
Now, patients received pencils, toys, and stuffed animals during the event. A new nationwide campaign aims to encourage special needs children to be included in trick-or-treating. If you see a child with a blue bucket this year, they may have autism. The initiative was created by a mother whose son isn't able to speak but still loves Halloween and wanted to be included.
The blue bucket represents the fact that, you know, a lot of times when children are trick-or-treating, they will wait for someone to say trick or treat. Well, this represents, you know, like, hey, this child cannot say that, and this just represents that to the parent.
The blue Halloween buckets have become a symbol since blue is the color for autism awareness. Well, one of Eastern North Carolina's state highways is preparing for a speed limit change. The town of Cedar Point voted to reduce the speed by 10 miles per hour on Highway 24. 9 on your side's Camilla Barco spoke to town officials about what prompted the change.
If you're planning on driving on Highway 24 through the town of Cedar.
Coming up, a woman in our state makes a find for the ages. Coming up on your news at 10, how and where she made the impressive find.
Big thunderstorms rolling through the state of North Carolina tonight. Already many counties in the central part of the state have been under warnings, and even a few counties around here. We'll let you know what the rest of the night holds in store coming up next. Facebook page every 20 minutes, brand new Halloween trivia questions, poll questions, and we're going to continue that right on through the midnight hour tonight. So make sure you head over there and check that out. A lot of good stuff, good content. Of course, we'll keep one eye on the weather too, just in case we have any additional warnings flare up. But at least that line has weakened a lot compared to what it was like just an hour or so ago.
Absolutely. It changed drastically, and hopefully, you know, it holds out.
We'll see how it goes.
Fingers.
Indeed. And happy Halloween.
I know. Happy Halloween, Jerry. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Well, now to a story that began a long time ago. You know, living on the coast, the ocean washes up a lot of things. Seashells, shark teeth, sand dollars. In Carolina Beach, one woman has come across something quite rare. Helen Holt explains what she's found that's 1,000 years old.
Sitting in this Tupperware is a glimpse of a far-off past. Becky Wood spends most mornings here, combing through the sand for shells, shark's teeth, or whatever the ocean may wash up.
One morning I saw this in the edge of the water and I thought it was fossilized wood.
She went home, posted a photo of it online, and shortly after discovered it was something far more interesting than that.
And they told me that it was part of a mammoth tooth.
Yep. a part of a woolly mammoth, those large hairy animals with long tusks that roamed during the Ice Age. While it's hard to say exactly how old these are, experts say they're likely more than 10,000 years old.
Which I thought was pretty awesome that we can find fossils from the Ice Age out here.
Manny the Mammoth, I love Ice Age. Well, it's now been over a month and lawmakers in our state can still not come to an agreement on a state budget. Ahead on your news at 10, see what other major issue lawmakers were able to tackle during their session today. We begin with developing news tonight. Good evening, everyone. I'm Angie Quezada. Thanks for joining us tonight here on the Eastern North Carolina CW. Well, Greenville police are investigating a deadly officer-involved shooting. It happened around 2:45 this afternoon in the parking lot of the Aldi on East 10th Street. 9 on Your Side has been monitoring the story all afternoon. Our reporter Aaron Dean is live in Greenville now with more on the shooting. Aaron.
Yeah, Angie, this Aldi behind me was swamped with law enforcement responding to a deadly shooting. Now let's check out this video from earlier today. According to Greenville PD, the call came in around 2:45 p.m. about a white male in his 50s being aggressive towards customers in the parking lot. That's when the officer approached the man who had a gun. 2 people were shot, the suspect was killed, a bystander was injured. Greenville PD's police chief Mark Holtzman says the officer was a 9-year vet of the force and the investigation is ongoing.
We're not currently looking for anybody else involved. Per our normal protocol, I've called the State Bureau of Investigation to take over the officer-involved shooting investigation. So they are on scene here and the SBI has taken over that scene. District Attorney's Office has also been notified, and the officer will be placed on administrative leave per our policy.
The second person who was shot is in the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. The officer was not injured. We were told there are witnesses inside and outside of the store who are working with investigators. The name of the victims and the officer will not be released until the next of kin is notified. Live in Greenville, Aaron Dean, 9 on Your Side.
Aaron, thank you. Another officer-involved shooting took place in the city back in July of this year. Officer David Johnson shot and killed 23-year-old Sean Rampert after responding to a break-in call on Brookline Drive. Johnson joined the force in January 2018. As always, stay tuned to WNCT both on air and online for the latest updates on this developing story. You can download the WNCT app on both the Apple and Google Play stores to stay up to date. Well, tracking more crime across the east, the New Bern Police Department and Craven County Sheriff's Office are cracking down on illegal gambling businesses. This morning, the law enforcement agencies served a warrant to the spot located on Red Robin Lane. 2 men were taken into custody as authorities searched the property. Gambling machines and money were also seized from the location. New Bern Police Chief Summers says illegal gambling establishments won't be tolerated because they harbor other illegal activity too.
We've had one establishment that we've had a shooting at. We've had another one where we had drug overdose. So our community can support us by, number one, staying away from those establishments.
The Sheriff's Office, along with the New Bern Police Department, served warrants to nearly 40 illegal gambling locations to warn them. No criminal action will be taken against a Martin County assistant principal accused of hitting a student. Now, this is a story 9 on Your Side first told you about yesterday. A parent reported an allegation of child abuse involving her son with autism. According to Williamston Police, a school employee alerted the parent that assistant principal Donsania Teal struck the child's arm. It happened after the child allegedly kicked Teal in the leg on October 3rd. The district attorney's office investigated the case and decided not to press charges. The Jacksonville Police Department is investigating after a woman is killed in a car crash. It happened yesterday just before 1:30 p.m. on Country Club Road near Office Park Drive. According to JPD, a truck pulling a trailer was driving east when the trailer detached and went left of center. It collided with a Jeep driven by 46-year-old Regina Croft, causing her to crash into a tree. Croft was pronounced dead at the scene. The truck driver, 60-year-old Craig Priest, now faces multiple charges, including involuntary manslaughter. Safety upgrades are still underway at a dangerous intersection in Jacksonville. The intersection is located off Henderson Drive near Jacksonville High School. It's an area that has seen plenty of accidents. Public officials hope that a new HAWK pedestrian signal will cut down on those accidents. HAWK stands for High Intensity Crosswalk Beacon. The lights flash from yellow to solid yellow to red, giving pedestrians 20 seconds to cross traffic. Officials say the potential for traffic congestion is worth the peace of mind.
We know that when the red lights come on the HAWK system, that will result in backup in traffic. However, it was determined that the safety of the pedestrian outweighed the congestion that will occur in the stacking.
School officials are still working at trying to educate students on how to cross and cross quickly by featuring reminders in their morning announcements. Tonight, the third Greenville Candidate Forum was held at the Epps Recreation Center. The forums provide an opportunity for candidates running in the Greenville mayoral District 1, District 2, and at-large races to share their platforms and plans to move Greenville forward. The event ran from 6 until 8 this evening and, of course, was open to the public. Today, state lawmakers passed what's known as step increases for teachers. It's basically a bonus. They've been passing these mini budgets since Governor Cooper vetoed the full budget months ago. 9 on Your Side's Dylan Huffman is digging deeper and explains for us tonight.
Some models let it linger. Some models clear it out quickly. We'll see what happens. Wednesday into Thursday, everyone begins to dry out. Daytime highs will be near 70 for the middle and end of next week, with overnight lows in the mid to upper 50s. And Angie, you know, whenever we talk about fall, we talk about 70s being typical for a daytime high. But one thing we've been missing so far this month, even though it's early to have lows in the 30s every night, usually in October by this point there would have been at least one night that was really, really cold. We haven't really had excessively cold nights.
And trust me, Jerry, I've been wishing that could happen just because I'm ready to wear some boots and stuff, but it has been a warm October.
It really has, but you get the sense that somewhere down the road it's going to balance out.
I'm waiting, Jerry.
I know.
Thanks, Jerry. Well, after more than a year of planning, Jacksonville's first YMCA has officially opened. I love the YMCA. The Wellness Center will offer activity rooms and education spaces. 9 on Your Side's Camila Barco takes us inside the new building.